Welcome everyone, this is Thomas for Autogefühl with a new episode. Today another world premiere. We are live on tape here in Amsterdam for the all-new Volkswagen Transporter, the 6th generation, the T6. And this one here next to me is one of the very early models from the Volkswagen Transporter. 65 years of heritage, so really a huge heritage, and this car is really an icon, has inspired so many people, maybe even in their lifestyle. And so, well, everyone is awaiting a lot of the new generation, and we are going to tell you everything about the new generation, the exterior, interior and also the technical features. Well, as long as the information that is available as for today. So, very exciting evening here with us. I'm looking forward to go on this world premiere together with you guys. So this is the all-new car, the Volkswagen T6, now in the 6th generation. This is actually the Multivan. This is the top comfort version. This means this is the passenger car with the most comfort and with the highest equipment in it. If we first take a look at the new exterior, this is, well, one of the major changes as you change a new generation of the car. For example, the hood has become a little bit flatter and also a little bit more prominent here in the front grille. A huge VW logo reminding us at the very first model here. And there's a new light signature here. We see, well, it's a little bit edgy, more dynamic here in the front. You always change the lines, of course, and well, the contemporary style is a little bit sharper than the previous one, and so they also transported it here. It also gets a little bit more dynamic here with the new design line on the hood, and that's kind of very interesting. But basically, they said they still want to keep the scheme form follows function. That means they first think about, okay, what has the car actually to do, what shall it deliver, and then adapt the design to it. So we see that the basic design still kept this kind of angular shape, that you have still keep a lot of space on the inside, and then they try to arrange the outside on it. And one thing I must say, well, it seems a little bit more stringy than the other ones. For example, you see it here now, the door is opened, but this designer on the side, for example, is carried all over the car. That means they want to kind of reduce the design lines of the car and make it look like that it's kind of like all from one piece. And I think that's quite well done here. And well, but still, I think people who have the other car, the generations before, will still find something of their previous car in this all-new model here now. So as I said, this is the Multivan version. There are also other versions, but we're going to take a look at this one here first now, because for all passenger customers, this one is kind of the crucial car. It will start, for example, now in Germany at about 30,000 euros, and well, it's kind of a reasonable price comparing to the other models. So they say the prices have not increased. Actually, the commercial will also be a little bit less expensive, 27,000 euros starting in Germany. So you get less, but also pay less a little bit. So let's take a small look to the inside of the car. Some new materials have been used. Sliding door, typically, and we got, this is the high, it says here, also the Highline equipment now. So this is really the top equipment you can get. So the Multivan with the Highline equipment. And if we take a look here inside, it gets really exciting because here we also have full leather seats. You see it's a contrast color here, bright leather on the inside and dark leather on the outside. And just from the first seating tests, it's really very comfortable. I also know the previous version and the previous seats, and I can say, just comparing them here now, I also knew the top equipment seats from the previous model, from the T5. And well, the seats were way harder. This one here is way softer now. You more feel like in a sedan, but you sit upright, and I think that's also good for maybe for VIP services, that you really can sit upright. I will also looking forward to drive the car also as a passenger here in the back. That's not possible today here at the first world premiere. Well, why is it exciting? Because so far, I think, sitting here in the back, it was a little bit rough to ride the car actually. But now, optionally, there also will be a dynamic suspension, so you can actually set it to sport, comfort or normal. That will be optionally available in the future, and I think that might help also increase the comfort here for the rear passengers. The basic size of the car remained rather the same, and I think that's good. It has a good size at all, and well, you see, look at the ceiling, also very soft material. You see there are additional vents here as we already used from the previous version. And the overall quality impression here is very good. It's not kind of the same as the all-new Mercedes V-Class. We also got a review from that one. It's also linked in the video description. There it's a little bit even more exclusive, but of course you also pay way more money. But for Volkswagen here and this multi-purpose car, this one can already be used as a VIP carrier because it's really exclusive here. For example, also take a look at the floor. It also looks very good. Also clean solutions here to place the seats onto the floor actually. And some people actually hate driving against the direction. I think it's quite okay. You just have to get used to it. And this seat here, for example, is a little bit shorter, the single seats. You see here, I don't have I have more space here to my knees actually. This one here in the back is, I think, more comfortable. So I think these ones are the premium seats here, and these ones here are additional. So they also thought about the details. For example, we have an energy supply here in the back. You see here, 12-volt energy supply, and of course you can also place your beverages here. Well, I think what is quite well done is also just the entry here. Also looks high class. A little bit of rubber use here that you don't slide away with your foot when getting in. And there are also some more details we see that Volkswagen really has a good quality here, just when you look at the details here at the inside of the doors and so on. Also the sliding process looks quite fine. And there will also be, of course, electric versions for that. The front interior is blocked at the moment so far, so we move on to the rear because there are also some news here in the 6th generation. Because so far you could only open the hatch manually. Now there are multiple ways to, well, improve it, let's say it this way. You first start with a normal manual hatch, then there's optionally available that just the last closing is done electrically. So you don't have to smash it all over the place. We can maybe test it here. Let's see. You maybe you've seen it. Like the last bit was closed electronically, and that's also like one clean solution. And then the next step is that you can also open it totally just electrical. And for example, you can also use the key, then just press the car key and then it opens electrically. We can also test it here, but this one is the electric hatch. No, it's not the full electric hatch. See the opening process again. But I think, as I saw it, it must be the one with the electric help at the end. Let's test it. Let's see. Just. Yes, maybe you've seen it. Like the last very bit. So you don't have to smash it in. That's actually a clever idea. I'm not sure if I would pick the extra. Maybe the full electric opening, that would be a very good idea. So this one here, as you see, is the TDI. And actually there will be 4 diesels available and also 2 petrol engines. Well, it's actually not hard to remember which kind of is. It's both 2 liters of capacity, diesel and petrol engine. And there will be a version with 204 horsepower and 150 horsepower, both petrol and diesel. And then there will also be 2 more smaller diesels for the lower entry versions. So this is the engine lineup, and Volkswagen says they are consuming 1 liter less per 100 kilometers now in the 6th generation. We'll see when driving the car if that's really true, but for now I think they should be at least a little bit less fuel consuming than before. For example, here now again at the side profile, we've talked about it, we see this design line and it's really carried over all over the place. I think that's one very good thing. Let's see if it's, you see it's the electric version here as well. I just have to push the handle and then it closes automatically. Also very clean solution, and of course if you're, for example, having a VIP shuttle service, always makes a little bit more impression on people when you have this electric opening. And also it's, you don't have to really push it hard, it works quite well. And they, you see, also designed, they tried to integrate the space for the sliding door into the design. It's also, I think, a nice idea. Let's take a short look at the alloys here. These ones are also the higher equipment, 18-inch here. You see there are also kind of some elements that are reminding us of the old models. So they try to find this compromise again between showing something new and showing something old. So I think maybe we have time soon to get into the front interior, because we have also got some news in right there. So at Weltpremieres, always a lot of people showing us around here, a lot of cameras, and it's hard to get a premiere spot. Yeah, maybe right now. So join me please in the interior. So the co-driver seat. Here we can very well see the new materials. We first of all got, for example, clean solutions here with this kind of aluminum look, but there are also more classy looks available. Here you can, for example, have a storage space, a USB port. So that one, again to say, is the high equipment here in the Multivan in the high line. So we also got the shiny black elements here. And then they try to have a very ergonomic cockpit, having the automatic gear shifter here. This is the DSG, a dual clutch transmission here now, which is also available for this car. Also some space here, again another USB port. There will also be some cup holders available that can be cooled as well. And you see also the infotainment unit. Well, it's not the biggest one, not we've seen in other Volkswagen passengers car, not the biggest screen, but it has this new like contemporary technology with the proximity sensor, where you're near your hand at the display and then you can control the touchscreen here. So either touchscreen or you have the basic functions here. Volkswagen users or also from Skoda or Seat will know the system, that's like from the basic layout. And I think, well, this car here does not have to have like the biggest or most long one, but I think you get along with that very well, because also the system is quite intuitive and you don't have to search it around for a long time to find every solution. So I think I'll just move around to the driver's seat then, because that's also good for this car, because you can just do it kind of internally. The seats, again, I must say, they're very comfortable and definitely more comfortable than before. The steering wheel now also reminds us as like the modern Golf 7 generation, also with the shiny black elements here. And so you have kind of, well, a huge car behind you, but here in the front you rather think, okay, maybe I'm in a normal small car, because I have still the same elements I know from the other Volkswagen cars, and it also looks really high class, I must say. Of course, now in this very bright light we have a lot of dust already on the black shiny elements, even if it was clean just right here before. It might also be prone to some scratches, so you'll have to look out for that. But I think, especially for this VIP shuttle solution, that's very good. Or if you want to really spend a lot of money in a car, where you can also have a lot of space here in the back. So this is here the Multivan version. I think it's really interesting what they've done also with the interior. I like the huge clear spaces here, and there are not so many design lines, so it's kept actually quite simple, and I think that works pretty well. Or what do you think? I'm also looking forward to your comments, because here also you see a lot of DIN audio equipment here, huge boxes, so you might also have a very good sound here. So that's for the Multivan version, and I think we'll move over now to the other versions, because we also got the Transporter version and the Caravelle. The Caravelle is between the Transporter and the Multivan, so we'll take a look at these two versions now as well. So this is a Caravelle version now, so we kind of move one comfort level lower, and also it's lower in the price. It's not directly now the commercial vehicle. This one is kind of even more multi-purpose because you can kind of use it for both. So it's between the multivan and the commercial version, this Caravelle version. And well, from the outside you don't see it's that much actually. It's more rather from the inside. So we also take a look at the inside here now. Because here, for example, we don't have the full leather equipment. We have the fabric seats, also in contrast color. You see the difference. Also, you see the entry here at the foot bottom is a little bit cheaper. We don't have this aluminum style here. And let's take a look at the front. And let's also just take a seat. You see here we don't have shiny structure here, shiny cover, because we can just put things in here. Everything is rather robust. You see it's also hard plastics. Okay, well, you save money with that. Maybe it's even a better solution for most people buying this car because you don't want to have it as a luxury sedan, but more as a car that actually do everything. This car, Volkswagen, also intends for people doing sports, maybe want to export their bike or even motorcycles, or even some motorcycles in it, but also want to use it as an everyday car just when driving at home or something like that. The other elements you see, we still got the same navigation system actually, that's also available here, but for example the shift lever now without the DSG also looks a little bit more cheap, but in general you see the same steering wheel, also with the dark shiny black elements, kind of transports almost the same feeling. It's, I think even for the co-driver that's like the main difference. The seat is kind of has the same function. You see here it's with manual commands, but there's also the electric version available in the high-class version. I would say, yeah, the full leather seats are more comfortable, I'd say, but like the basic form is rather the same. And of course, the surface here is cheaper. Let's take a look at the back, because that's also very important for the car again. You see there are also so many possibilities actually. We've seen the other equipment here back there with 2 single seats, and here we got 2 seat rows actually with 3 seats each. That's also kind of nice, and we can also go to the back. Let's see how it works. Attention please. So the seat is flipping, and then I can also climb in the back of the car. Yeah, well, it actually gets quite cozy here. The seat is also kind of soft, and let's see how much space I still get when I move back the car. You can see it right now, but I got like this space on my knees, a little bit space still on my knees, so that's quite okay. And of course I always got headroom here, and I think that's one of the main advantages here in this Volkswagen Transporter, because the roofline does not fall down, really goes back all the way, and so you always have enough room of your head. I'm 1.86 meters now, and I think I could easily sit here with 190 or even a little bit more when I lay myself a little bit back. So this one are the impressions from the Caravelle version. Might be really the most clever solution for most people buying this car, I guess. You see, this is the solution. Actually also works quite well. It's very light, I must say, because if you think about maybe mother with 3 kids and they're entering the car, then she also doesn't want to have a very heavy seat where you can't really control it, but that's actually quite fine because it almost works automatically. Let's move to the back. You see here we also got Caravelle sign, just to remember it what is what. And I would like to open this. Excuse me. You see it's a huge hatch actually, but that's actually important to have this huge hatch, because you also want to load a lot of things in there. And here you can see how the trunk actually can look like, and this equipment here with 2 seat rows after each other. So you still got a lot of space here, and also to secure it. And you see what is quite neat, I think everything is kind of clean. You see there are a lot of clean solutions. You don't see like some cables flying around or some sharp edges. Everything is kind of clean here also on the interior. I think it's also a good solution. By the way, another detail, the 12-volt electric power supply here. Again, one here in the back. So there's kinds of these all over the place. And you can see here, with my 186 mm, I can still stand below the hatch here. That's also a clever solution. For example, maybe you're going camping or you away with your motocross bike, and you can just stand it even if it starts to rain, or maybe have a small picnic even here, sit next to each other, and that's actually also a good solution where you can use this car. And maybe one of the reasons why this car has also become so iconic, because a lot of people really connect through emotions with the car, because they have maybe gone on the holidays where you have very good memories. So, and let's see, I think this is just a manual hatch here now. Yeah. So, and now let's move to the Transporter, as I said. This one is the commercial version now. Okay, it's also the cheapest one, of course, because there's the least in it, but for some people it offers the most, and that is space. So let's open the trunk. You see, we also got a plastic cover here. Everything has to be really robust here for the commercial use, and so you see, you got the most space in here. I think even a motocross bike would fit in here, and there's also no problem to attach it really, because you see here at the ground you got these hinges here where you can actually fix everything. That's very practical. And you see it's also just the floor here. It's very robust. Scratches, no problem. I think no one cares actually. And you can just step in here, and I see I can, well, not stand up here of course, it would be like a class higher, but I think it's a good solution to combine both this commercial use with, you know, the car being still able to drive inside the city, because it's actually not that huge. And if you also take a look here at the ceiling, it's also again clean solutions here, and well, of course it's not the most high class one, but still using not so expensive materials, but they still look kind of good actually. So for a commercial vehicle, this also looks kind of design-wise clean. For example, also the cover here for the passenger cabin. Just take a look also at these details here. This is also a nice piece of work to attach more things, for example, a toolbox or something like that. So let's see the sliding doors, how it works here. Of course, we do not have the electrical version here now, just manually. But even if it's just manually, it slides kind of very easy. You see, I can maybe just use one finger, and that's it. And I think it's maybe also good just for your everyday work that it slides very easily. It's just the first step, and it has to be secure, because imagine you get it open, and maybe the car is standing on a ramp facing downwards with the front. Then of course this door still has to be fixed. And so it's good that it's not that easy. First part, but then here it is. Also, by the way, I always stress it with Volkswagen models, if you just close something, just hear the sound. The sound, even here in the Transporter version, is some kind of higher class and more than other models from other brands. And I think that's one detail they are always working on. Let's take the look at the inside of the doors here in the Transporter. Of course, this one is really a hard plastic. We want to save money in here, and everything has to be robust, because, you know, people enter the stage and just scratch something, but it then shouldn't matter that much. Besides the other interior details, you see it's kind of kind of resembling with the Caravelle version. We also got the black plastic, the hard plastic in here, and just actually the spaces we got inside here. Of course, no shiny elements and so on. But I think it's not such a great difference to the Caravelle version. That's really more the difference really for the rear part. In the front here of the Transporter, of the commercial version, we see it's also rather robust here, because also the plastic cover is used here, not the same equipment than the other cars. Of course, maybe you don't really pay so much attention to get some scratches, but then this part can be easily replaced at some point, or maybe you don't just care. And then let's move on to the other side of the car, because you also see one more element, also the side mirrors. They're quite huge, because you always want to see what's behind you, even if you have a huge car, of course. But still, these ones are also just in this black plastic cover here, also to make it just more robust and, well, cheaper to replace anything of it. Now when we have the possibility, we also take a short look at the driver's seat of the Transporter version. So, driver's seat of the commercial Transporter now, you see the fabric of the seat looks a little bit cheaper. Also the whole form looks a little bit cheaper. So, and this one is kind of the robust surface. You also hear when scratching on it. You see, I cannot really easily create scratches in here now. Let's just take a seat. The steering wheel is the easy version here now. I don't have a shiny black element here, so very basic, and just this robust plastic style, also just as surface of the outside of the steering wheel. You see also the difference to the shifting lever here. That's even cheaper with the version. But still, I think the GPS, well, looks kind of okay, I must say, because just for the outside view of that, it's not such a difference to the other one. But you see, it's a little bit smaller than the top trim level, because there also has to be some kind of a difference. So basically, I think this equipment here on the inside doesn't look so new, even it's the new generation. But of course, comparing to the T5, it's still an improvement. And everything is kind of easy to control and intuitive, also with the temperature controlled. You even got a seat heating in this case here as well. Next to me, you see there's also a solution that you can travel with 3 people. Maybe you and your fellow workers are on your way doing some work on whatever. So you can be sitting here with 3 people in the front and still have a lot of working equipment behind you. So this is the basic overview of the 3 different versions here from the all-new Generation 6. And speaking of Generation 6, there's also a new special edition now with the launch. This in case from the Multivan, the top comfort version. And well, it's quite exciting because they've used the same color scheme as a lot of years before. So at the very beginning of this evening, outside I was showing the T1, the very original model. This one is also a T1 here, first generation from 1966. And it has a special red and white style. And it really looks quite neat. I can also show you how it looks from the interior if we just move closer here. We can look inside the windows, because it's also kind of funny how it's styled in the interior. You see, you can hardly imagine building cars like that nowadays, but it's just always funny to see how it's done. Here I can also take a look at the driver's seat. Maybe you enter first with the camera here. You see how basic and simple this is. We even smell this kind of, this old-fashioned smell. It comes here, I think, mainly from the seats. See how the temperature, how the speed is actually measured with the small flower in there. It's just funny to see the car, and I think this one also brought so much iconic factor to the whole car. So let's move on to the modern one, because based on this styling here, they've created a special model here now. It will be available in 4 different contrast colors, and one of these contrast colors actually here, mixed in red and white. And take a look at the car, you see that the alloy covers have this kind of old school style, and of course also the red and white contrast, red at the lower part, white below the design line that is covered straight to the car. And well, I think it's a nice design feature here as well. You can only get it now as it's starting and it's launching, and probably this one here, the special edition, will maybe one of the next classic cars we'll have from the Volkswagen commercial vehicle family. So I think it's a very interesting idea to give a lot of emotion again to this car. Although, as it's now kind of edgy and now in this contemporary look, it's of course not that emotional anymore than the former models, at least from the perspective today. But maybe this very perspective will soon change again, and then this one is the very classic car as we've seen the other one today. So just take a look at it one more time from the exterior, and then we'll take a short look in the interior of the special edition. It says here again, Generation 6. Letting the colleague do a photo just for 1 minute. And then we'll also take a look at the interior, because there we also see this contrast. You already see that where we have the shiny black elements usually, we now have shiny red elements here in this special edition. And also the seat has this contrast color here with Alcantara on the inside. That's also, I think, a very good solution. Maybe even better than the full leather equipment. You see here the red shiny element here now, in contrast to the matte aluminum style at the lower part. I think it's a very nice mixing. So let's go around the car just for 1 minute. See, it's carried all over the car. Still think, again, this very clear design. Generation 6, it says here now on the badge. So let's enter the sliding door to see how the rear compartment is designed in here. So I'll step in here. We also got the equipment here with one seat row that is straight and then two single seats. And again, we got a great seating comfort here. Reminds me of the full leather equipment, just we have the Alcantara surface here on the inside of the seat. And that's of course better when, for example, it's in summertime and you're really sweating, then you don't stick to the seats as in the full leather equipment. Here we also see there's a table. For example, if I want to write an article now, put my laptop in here, or of course for eating, because this car can also be used for as some kind of camper car. Now I can take the camera myself just for a short second, because from here I can also show you very well how the cockpit looks in the front. Just from this perspective, you see the red element on the upside, matte aluminum at the lower part. I think that's a very nice solution here as well. A great idea to introduce this car. So let's conclude here from the world premiere of the all-new Volkswagen Transporter. I think the most important thing is that they kept the price rather at the same level, even offering a lower entry price version. That's one important factor, because you know so many different people want to use the car, and so they also should find the same solution than before. And then about the new stuff, well, I think the exterior has become a little bit sharper. I like it also in comparison to the T5 model. It looks more contemporary now. But my favorite is really the interior. You've seen also the top equipment here. I think they are using a lot of great materials, and especially the cockpit looks very clean without being too pretentious, you know. It's not, you know, they have the most luxury feeling. It's still a little bit settled in comparison, for example, also to the Mercedes V-Class. So it's also a little bit of a different target group, in my opinion, as for taste. Well, then as for driving and the new systems, what they haven't introduced before is that they are using a lot of new assistant systems. For example, there will be the front assist. That is actually a system that is combining the emergency brake until the speed of 30 kilometers an hour and the automatic cruise control that, in combination to the DSG, the dual clutch transmission, can also brake the car until 0 kilometers because of, for example, you don't have to clutch in the car then. So, some new assistant system, for example, there will also be a speech amplifier that, for example, the driver is saying something actually in the front and then the speech is amplified to the kids in the back. Also some nice new electronic equipment. More about that we'll find out when we drive the car for the first time. I think so far we have taken a look at the exterior and the interior and some of the new facts of this all-new generation. I am looking forward to your comments. This was Thomas for Autogefühl, and I really like that you were watching this video and hope you will join us at the next Autogefühl episode.